The original Pikmin is genuinely one of my favourite games of all time. If I'm asked to give a top 10, a top 5, on the right day, maybe even a top 3, there's a really good chance that Pikmin is making that list. Pikmin was a game released in the early days of the Nintendo Gamecube, a console which was very formative for me. It was the first home console I personally owned, and the place where I fell in love with franchises like Zelda, Mario, and Metroid. I didn't play much of Pikmin in those early days, though. It's a game which requires a thoughtful approach and some patience, best suited to playing alone in a quiet room. As a teenager, playing on the family TV in the living room, all of these were in short supply.
Please let me introduce my new heroes.
Pikmin is the brainchild of the legendary Shigeru Miyamoto, creator of Donkey Kong, Mario, and Zelda, and grandfather of modern gaming. Either made from an extension of an old Mario tech demo, experiments in a game about Adam and Eve, or because Miyamoto is inspired by ants in his garden, depending on who you ask, Pikmin is a kind of strategy game in which the player controls an astronaut called Olimar, and plucks vegetable characters called Pikmin from the ground, to help repair his damaged spaceship. The gameplay is exactly as much management as I can handle. I have to be involved and have a plan, but it's not completely overwhelming like most RTS games I've tried to play on the PC. During my first full playthrough, around 10 years ago, the game took up permanent residence in my head. After each in-game day, I would be making plans for the next day, even as I was at work or out for a drink with my pals. Beyond the gameplay loop, what makes Pikmin so special is the mood and the tone. The world is seen at a miniature scale, the characters smaller than a strawberry, but zoomed out a little, it strongly resembles our world, with all the people removed. The music is pleasant but often melancholy, and the story is about a very relatable workman with a relatable desire to just get home. His success or failure is genuinely in the player's hands, with only 30 days to find 30 spaceship parts. Olimar writes a diary at the end of each day, and at times the writing is touching. When the mission looks hopeless, or when Pikmin needlessly die, Olimar laments it. The significance of this 30-day time limit in actual gameplay terms is overrated. It's actually very achievable with only the minimum of planning, even by an idiot like me. On the other hand, its value for creating a tone is immeasurable. Pikmin has 2 sequels, with a 4th game on the way, and a 3DS spin-off we don't speak of. The sequels build on the original, and plenty of people will claim they're the superior games. But there's a special quality to this game specifically that I just don't think the others quite capture. With other characters joining Olimar, or without the life and death stakes, the relationship with the Pikmin is less meaningful, and the sacrifices they are asked to make even more heartless. With bigger maps, more available time, and lots of caves and distractions, that little element of planning the next day in one's mind disappears. You spend more time in the game world, sure, but the game world spends less time in you. After Pikmin, Shigeru Miyamoto seems to have been personally involved only in games like Wii Music, or projects like Nintendo World or the Mario movie. If this is his last true game, I think it's a fitting swan song. A more adult, more wistful attitude makes it an interesting goodbye, and as a one-off experience, I think it is equally as full and rich and memorable as Super Mario Bros. Or The Legend of Zelda. I would implore anyone who likes games to at least give Pikmin a go. I think it can't help but affect you. And if you do enjoy the game, despite my criticisms, I would absolutely recommend Pikmin 2 and 3. And if you bounce off of them all, I understand that too. Miyamoto made it in the twilight of his career, and I had to give it 10 years until I was old enough and boring enough to like it.